Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Emily Soule, and welcome to this week's Top 5 Podcasting News Stories. Let's get into it. All right, Sex and the City fans, hold on to your Manolos because Kristin Davis, aka Charlotte York herself, is back, but this time she's trading Cosmos for a microphone. That is right. She's teaming up with iHeart Podcast for a brand new weekly series called Are You a Charlotte? Now, before you start asking yourself, am I a Charlotte, a Carrie, or dare I say a Samantha, let's dive into what this podcast is all about. Kristin Davis herself describes it as a show where past meets present. And no, not in a weird time travel way. She's taking us back to the world of Carrie, Miranda, Samantha, and Charlotte, but also tackling real life themes. Kristin said this show once helped push taboo conversations out of the shadows. This podcast isn't just for fans who want to relive the favorite show. It's also for anyone who wants to have a mix of nostalgia, humor, and maybe even a little self-discovery. Are You a Charlotte drops January 13th, 2025 on iHeartRadio and, well, basically anywhere you get your podcast. So mark your calendars. All right, attention podcast fans. The On Air Fest 2025 is coming this February, and it's bigger, better, and buzzing with podcast magic. 3 days and 4 nights packed with live tapings, workshops, performances, and yes, multi-sensory experiences. It's just like podcasting's Met Gala minus the gowns, but with way more mics. NPR's Throughline brings cinematic soundscapes, 20,000 Hertz has a workflow workshop, and Wondery, Slate, and SiriusXM are doing live tapings. Oh, and there's also someone who is going to be building an AI clone on stage. Super casual. It's all about to happen February 19th through the 21st at the With Hotel in Brooklyn and 5 other spots. So get your tickets now, because if you are not at On Air Fest, are you even a podcaster? Okay, let's dive into this wild podcasting drama straight out of Italy. A company called License Sync is sending out invoices for over $7,300 to podcast directories. Why? For daring to list 6 of their podcasts. Yes, 6. Not 600, not 60, just 6. Clearly, podcasts are the next oil, and Licensing is here to drill. Led by founder and self-titled CEO Rochelle Bonanni, Licensing is billing itself as the first collective management organization for digital native works. I mean, fancy title, but what they're really saying is we want to charge you for doing absolutely nothing. Their argument? Platforms listing their podcasts are somehow profiting unfairly, whether or not they're actually making money. They've even added a cherry on top. Platforms must slap Licensing's logo on their site, share user data, and file a full income report. Oh, and if your podcast has video, expect a 30% price hike. I mean, sharing a link, 20%. And you know what? Next thing, they'll just charge you for blinking at the RSS feed. All of these legalese only apply within Italy, which makes us wonder, does licensing need a crash course in how the internet works? Lindsay Bowen, a podcast lawyer, broke it down perfectly, saying podcasting isn't like file sharing. The content is hosted and distributed by podcasters themselves. Directories just link to the content. That's literally the point of an RSS feed. And if you're wondering how to spot Licensing's members, good luck. Their website lists some podcasters in Italian, some in English, and none of their RSS feeds. They're claiming on working on tools to make it more straightforward. I mean, the translation is give us 3 years and we'll figure this out. So if this is an honest attempt to protect creators or a cash grab wrapped in legal jargon, either way, the podcasting world is not amused. And remember, folks, the next time someone invoices you for linking to a podcast, maybe send them a link to reality. All right, big news for all of you Android users feeling a little left out by the Apple Podcast party. Guess what? You can now install Apple Podcasts as an Android app. Yes, you heard that right. So Apple quietly made some updates to their website, and now you can get the app experience without stepping foot in the Google Play Store. Here's the cool part. Once you install it, Apple Podcasts acts like a regular app on your Android phone. It's in your app drawer, it lets you buy premium subscriptions, and it even comes with full localization. That means if you're scrolling in a different language, Apple has got you covered. Oh, and for the loyal listeners out there, this is a great way to access premium shows and support your favorite podcasters because let's face it, if you are binging true crime at 2 a.m., someone's got to get paid for your insomnia. Now for my favorite topic, the podcast of the week. This week it is We're Not Qualified. Ever wanted some advice from someone who is definitely not qualified to give it? Meet Jake Johnson. You might know him as Nick from New Girl, and Gareth Reynolds from The Dollop. These two have built a 15-year friendship on, dumb bits. Now they are bringing that energy to their podcast, We're Not Qualified. Think of them as your friendly neighborhood bartender or that tipsy uncle who always thinks he has the answers. All right, enough of me talking about it. Here is a clip of We Are Not Qualified.
Do people just talk in theaters now? I've gone to movies recently where I'm like, I see phones on. When I was in New York, we went and saw The Lion King. People behind us were talking the whole fucking show in a normal voice. And I kept doing the look back. We'd look at each other and he would do the that dude's getting pissed vibe and like do like a little nod. 5 minutes of quiet and then, the other thing that's happened, I'm like, we can hear you. I know I'm being an old man grump.
No.
I was like, culturally, the world has changed.
Most people still get it.
Yes.
There are people, and there is an age factor, but it's also just the comfortability.
Agreed.
There is this idea of like, I do what I want. And it's like, yes.
But
you go to a place where we're all like going to do a thing.
But there's no thought about others.
No.
And that's a wrap for this week's Top Stories. Once again, I'm your host, Emily Soule. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.